We are here to make people feel good about themselves. We really have to feel like we are a day maker for the guest. You've made my day. How great is that when you hear those words from your guest?
Hi, welcome to Daymakers Podcast. Today we have Edwin Veguilla with us, and it's kind of one of those special moments in life where things come full circle. Edwin, 100 years ago, was one of my students, and so it's great to have you here, Edwin. So
it's great to be with you.
Yeah.
All right.
I've had the privilege of watching you grow over the years, but I want to hear your kind of Marvel origin story. I want to know how you got to where you are today.
Yeah. So I actually started cutting hair when I was 11 years old. At 11 years, I had a liver transplant and I had cancer right after that. And my father was a teacher and he used to cut all the kids' hair in the neighborhood. They were essentially of low means, and he would do that as kind of giving back. So after my transplant, I found myself with a lot of time in my hands, and I was hanging out with one of my buddies one time, and he came over to the house and needed a haircut, and he could not afford one. So essentially, I was like, I'll grab my dad's clippers and went to town and cut his hair and jacked him up. And after seeing how he looked and seeing how we felt after the haircut, I was kind of hooked. So that's kind of where my journey started and kind of where I fell in love with it. Some of my fondest memories were actually in barbershops and in the salons, just seeing how happy people were and how impactful what we actually do to people is. By the time I was in high school, I actually had, my garage was full of kids getting haircuts, and my prom and stuff, it was absolutely nuts. I knew I kind of had to go this direction with everything. But started at the age of 18, got licensed, and then fast forward, I've been able to do platform artistry. I've been able to work in multiple high-end salons. I've been able to have the opportunity to teach, to run schools, and now I own Razor Roar Barber Lounge, which is in Scienceville, Indiana. So it's been a long journey, and you've been a huge part of that journey because you were one of my first mentors in the business, and you were one of my first teachers also in the business. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
No, and I love Razor Roar. It's an amazing aesthetic to that barbershop. It's probably one of the coolest barbershops I've ever been in.
Yeah.
So tell me your inspiration behind that and the whole wellness aspect.
Yeah, so I hired a designer from Puerto Rico that I flew in, and him and I collaborated on the design. It took a long time to build. It took a year to build it alone. We worked on it during the middle of COVID. It was insane to build. The price of lumber skyrocketed. It became a huge project, way bigger than even I expected at that point. But going back to me being a sick child and having the cancer and all that, I wanted to build something that really helped people and that gave back to everybody that kind of walked in. At the core, be the best you is kind of like essentially when I looked at myself, like what are the things that I like to do? And it's helped people become better versions of themselves. And that's where the be the best you kind of comes from, one of our slogans. And that was the inspiration for wellness, was me being a sick kid, wanted to do something for people that was better, that provided not just good for mental health, but also for physical health too.
So tell me, as an employer, how do you evaluate if someone's ready to come work at Razor Roar?
So we look for three things. And so far we've been very fortunate with Tricoci students. I've had these traits, and the three things is, are they coachable? Are they hardworking? And are they servant-like? Do they have a servant heart? Which I do. At the end of the day, we are all serving, and we are servants of our customers and of each other as team members. So if they're going through the interview process and I kind of see that that's the traits that they have, we can teach everything else. They may not be like up to speed with their technical skills, or they might be lacking something, and we can teach all that. What I can't teach is I can't teach you to be a hard worker. I can't teach you to want to serve people, and I can't teach you to be coachable or moldable and be like water, right? Like water, when you look at it, it can freeze and become hard. It can turn into gas. It can be whatever it needs to be. So I look for that in my team members.
So as you've gone around to our schools and talked to our students, what kind of financial advice do you give them as far as that financial aspect to career in beauty?
Yeah. So I usually give them the same advice that I was given when I had the same question. One of my mentors earlier on actually told me, if you love something so much that you will do it for free, you will actually make more money at that one thing than you will at anything else in life. And that's been proven time and time and time again in my career, at least. When I was actually debating what direction to go with my career, I actually had friends that were like, do not go to beauty school. You're not going to make any money. Or for some people, barber school or esthetician school, whatever you choose to go. And ironically, over the course of my life, and even within the first year after school, I was making more money than not just them, but even their parents. So it became kind of weird. And I would have done it for free, so it never felt like I was working, right? So like when you love something so much that you're just willing to do it all day long, I mean, it's so much more rewarding. You're going to make way more money at that. So if you love it, if you're passionate about it, just pursue it. So,
well, most of our students, they all say the same thing when they're coming into school, which is they want to open up their own shop.
Yep.
So if they're wanting to open up their own business, what kind of advice do you give them for that?
Yeah. So I will also give the same advice that I was given when I was asking that question, because as I was trying to figure out what direction to go, one of my other mentors, Tom Porter from LUC, I asked him that same question, and he actually said, do it, but just understand that it's going to be way harder than you think it's going to be, and it's going to cost way more money than you think it's going to cost, and it's going to cost more things that you realize that are going to cost, right? But if you have a strong enough why, and you have a strong enough mission within yourself for people, that itself will push you through the hard times. And that's been my story. Like, everything costs way more money. It took way longer. The concept itself for Razor Roar, it took 3 years for me to come up with it. It took a year for building in the middle of COVID. And then we're going on our fourth, almost fifth year. And we've been working on refining our business concepts to make sure that we maximize everything for the team. And we're still working on wrapping up some ends with that. So it's going to take time, right? And also understand that don't go in there foolishly, not understanding who you're competing against and who you are as a person. When you're in business, it shows every weakness that you have, every skill gap, every area of your life and mind that you're lacking. And you can't hide anywhere because everything relies on you. So once you figure out what those pieces are, and you will as you go through it, just make sure that go back to your why, because you're going to hit bumps, and continue to go back to your why. And why are you serving people? Why do you want to do this? And you'll make it through.
We teach a lot about going back to your why and finding your why in our school, but you also hire a lot of our graduates. Yeah. So tell us how you feel Tricoci stands out in our curriculum, and why you hire so many of our grads.
Yeah, so our two stud barbers, Michael and Kayla, they are incredible. They came out the box with just great interpersonal skills. They were hardworking. They had a servant heart. They had all the qualities that we look for in team members. And they have outperformed year after year that we've been in business. And I owe a ton to them. Honestly, they are Razor Roar. Like, those guys are so incredible. So we always look for those great qualities that they have. And it seems that in the curriculum and in the path, even when I go to the schools, I was just in the Bloomington campus not that long ago teaching, and it's just so different. All the students seem to have that same mindset. It's just the culture is different. So clearly you're doing something right with that. So to answer your question.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things about your trip to Bloomington School is, my daughter has known you since she was a baby.
Yeah.
And so now that she's a student there, she was so excited because she didn't realize exactly what you did.
Yeah.
So the fact you were there teaching, you spent so much time with the students, and it was so hands-on and so amazing. And she came back with tons of pictures and stories and things like that. I mean, I think that it's really great that you give back, not only to our school, but other schools as well. You just really give back to those future students. Yeah,
that school had such great culture and energy. The students were so engaged. The team there is doing a great job. And like, if it wasn't for people giving back when we were students, right, and going into the schools and inspiring us and telling us the reality of what we're getting ready to venture up, like, we wouldn't be here having this conversation, right? We wouldn't be talking to our audience. We wouldn't be able to spread the message. So it's really important that we give back and continue, right? Like, look where you are, right? And you started just like a student, just like everybody else does. Zero. Now you're a CEO of Tricoci. I started the same way. I started as a student. And now I'm building a dream that a lot of people are going to be a part of, hopefully, and that we can get back and make people better. So yeah, we have to continue to do that.
What technical skills or soft skills, either one, do you think contribute to someone's success?
So if someone was to ask me like what my specialty is, like what I can give a really good haircut. I really can, really good haircut. But that's actually not my strength, and neither is the strength of my team. And they give fire haircuts. Like my team is very good. Our expertise is in customer service. We take such good care of our customers, and we're so warm and inviting from the moment they walk in, and we're so professional, and everything's about them. Everything goes back to the customer. That separates us. That itself separates us from everyone. And that's, again, what we're looking for in new hires and in students. And you can tell that off the gate. If I walk into a school like in Bloomington when I walked in, every single student that you could tell are going to be really hyper successful, like they took their time to come shake my hand, to walk me through the school and answer my questions. Like you can just tell when somebody has that inside of them.
Right. And I think that goes to what we always say, people don't buy things, people buy people. So that people connection is incredibly important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now usually we ask about the time when you made someone's day. Yeah. So let's talk about that. So when was the time that you realized you had the power to change someone's day?
Yeah. So that's such a good question. I actually, that's the reason why Razor Roar even exists. You may not remember this was a long time ago, but there was a point in one of the schools that we were a part of together that somebody actually came in and got their hair done, and they left, and they called back after they got their hair done, and they were actually getting their hair done because they were going to take their own life. Do you remember that situation? That impacted me so much. And the fact that that student at that time was so warm and inviting, was so customer service oriented, even at that level, gave that person such a good experience that it completely turned around her viewpoint in her day. And she went back and she gathered the strength from that to continue to live on. And she come back and told us that. Ever since that, I was like, it made me realize the power of what we do and like how close in contact we are with people. What other industry do you know that can do that instantly like that? They felt that much better. So that experience itself was a huge one. And we see it day in and day out. Actually, the meaning of roar behind our name is the feeling that you get after you get a really good haircut and a good experience. You feel like you can take on the world. We've had so many situations where people go and get the job after they get a good haircut. They go and get that significant other. They go and win the game, right? We have a lot of different players for different sports, all because they feel that much better. And then here's the other thing, not just from the haircut, it's the time with their barber too, right? It's that interpersonal thing that I keep talking about, that connection where they might come in super heavy, right? And not everyone goes and see therapists. Not everybody has a support system to go talk to at home, right? And they can just leave it all at our chair. And then we just talk and listen. More importantly, we listen. The chair gets turned around. You look a million times better. So you look like the best version of yourself. And then on top of that, you feel 1,000 times lighter, right? So that itself is so powerful. And I was like, this is why we're going to build what we're building right now. So
I love that story. I mean, we brought on Elizabeth Faye's Vitality Project for the very reason. She did a documentary called Hairdressers Can Change the World. Yeah. And it really is all about, all wellness, everything like that. So we're the first school to bring on that wellness program. And it's really been beneficial because we don't know everyone's struggles. Yeah. No, and that what we do behind the chair is incredibly important.
And to build on that, I think a lot of people don't realize that like in our industry, as barbers, hairdressers, estheticians, all these different things where we're literally servicing people, we're servants again. We are at the most important parts of a person's life, whether it's a wedding day, whether it's a prom, whether it's a funeral, unfortunately, right? Really hard times in someone's life and great times, right? So like the attachment and the bond is so incredibly strong that like if you don't understand the power of what we do, you don't take it serious, it's a huge mess. You need to kind of take it back and really understand what we're here to do. So yeah, build on that.
No, it's amazing. So, and can you tell me how that translates, those times, those small moments where we make someone's day, on how that translates to client retention?
Yeah. So your clients, your clients become literally your family over time. And when they continuously have a good experience, I mean, think about it. When you put yourself in the shoes of a client and you try to kind of walk their walk, you're going to look forward to that 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, depending on what you're getting done, time where you're just relaxing. It's all about you. It's all about you feeling better and looking better every other week, every 2 weeks, whatever you decide to come to, right? And what you need. But like I said, you're unloading all of your like mental things as well and talking to your person, and it's giving you the strength to continue to perform really well at your job, at your marriages. We actually have a joke going on in the shop. Whenever somebody sits down, we say, do you want it regular handsome or extra handsome? Mm-hmm. And then when we're done, we turn the chair around and we say, we are not held liable. We did not have you sign a waiver. We are not held liable for if you start getting hit on, if your marriage gets stronger, or the other direction because you look that good, or if you get promoted. We're not liable for that. Or if you win at whatever. And people usually laugh and giggle. I mean, think about the experience that creates and whenever they come back. So yeah, your family, your clients become family. And over time, you get to be part of also all of their key moments and their growth. And then they also get to see the other benefit is that they get to see your growth, right? So it's a simultaneous like thing. For me, they've seen me kind of grow from like a very beginning entrepreneur and kind of grow into a more seasoned entrepreneur. They've seen me make mistakes. I've seen their mistakes and they've seen me correct them, learn, get better. I've seen the same with them. So the relationship is just so strong. It's such a strong bond. So I wouldn't be wanting to do anything else. I love it.
I love it. I feel fortunate. So thank you for being part of the podcast.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
You know, I've had the benefit of not only seeing you grow from this like awkward teenager,
very awkward,
but to this successful entrepreneur who has opened an amazing salon.
Yes.
And I really appreciate all you do for our students.
Yeah.
So thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah, absolutely.